Hi guys. Today, we are gonna be solving a mystery. One of humanity's greatest mysteries. History's greatest mystery. I just said the title of a show called History's Greatest Mysteries. Dear God. I gotta stop saying History's Greatest Mysteries, but yeah, I just said History's Greatest Mysteries. Okay, we'll stop saying History's Greatest Mysteries. But either way, I'm already up. So, let me tell you a little story. So, picture this. 1700s. There's a colony known as the Roanoke colony on Roanoke Island. And so this guy, let's call him John, because I kind of forgot his name. John had to sail back to England so he can get supplies. But he would be gone for 3 years. Now when he got back, the entire colony was gone. No traces. The only thing left behind. Now, by the way, it looks like the colony just got up and just walked away. But the only thing left behind is Croatoan. Now, what does Croatoan mean? Okay, so here's some. Croatoan is a word associated with the mysterious disappearance of the Roanoke colony in the late 16th century. It was found carved into a tree by John White. Okay, so I did get his name right. It was John. The colony's governor, when he returned in 1590. So it was in the 1700s, sorry. The term is believed to refer to the Croatoan tribe, indigenous to the area now known as Hatteras Island in North Carolina. Theories suggest it may indicate the colonists' relocation or assimilation with the Croatoan people. The mystery of the Roanoke colony remains unsolved, with Croatoan often cited in discussions of lost civilizations. So now, I want to know something. Why would the Croatoan people just carve their name into a tree? Where did the Roanoke people go? So you know what time it is? Oh yes. It's time for some deep thinking. We're going to Google Docs. And we're going to write. So 1590, our guy John returns from England. To discover his colony has vanished without a trace. The only thing left behind was the word Croatoan carved into a tree. Okay, so John returns to England, discovers his colony has vanished, and the only thing left behind was Croatoan carved into a tree. So now, what are the Croatoan people? Well, They are Native Americans. I'm a Native American. So here's my theory. Now, it's going to be a starter off theory. This video is going to be a long one. So my starter off theory is the Roanoke people started seeing the Croatoans near the colony. And so they evacuated. Silently. Okay? But the Croatoans knew they were gonna do that. So what does they do? They chase them to the village where the Croatoans live. That's where they unalived them, ate them. It must have been cannibalistic if that was true. And threw the remains in a fire. So that is my theory. That's my theory on what happened to the Roanoke people. Croatoans were near the colony. They evacuated, but they did it silently. But the Croatoans knew they were going to do that, and they chased them to the village and ate them, threw them in the fire too. That could explain why there was nothing left at the village besides Croatoan. So now, let's see what YouTube has inside. The strange disappearance of the Roanoke colony. Of the mysterious disappearance. Wow. They really care about the Roanoke. Oh look, it's my guy, Mr. Bowen. So, these two say they solved it. So I'm going to give a shout out to them. And
the missing Roanoke colony mystery has just been solved after 400 years in 2025. In 1587, John White's Roanoke colony would disappear after he leaves to get supplies in England. But when he returned 3 years later, in 1590, the entire settlement was abandoned, leaving only Croatoan etched into a wooden post. Theories would range from mass starvations to native attacks, all the way to just simple abandonment, but there was no physical evidence ever found. But that was until now, as the Croatoan Archaeological Society ended up uncovering artifacts on neighboring Hatteras Island. The researchers would come across hammerscale, which are microscopic iron flakes from blacksmithing, and it was something that the Native American population didn't have at the time. They would also find cannonballs, gun parts, wine glasses, and all of them dated back to Roanoke's timeline. All of this sounds like pretty conclusive evidence to me, but as always, let me know what you think. The missing Roanoke colony mystery has just been solved after
The lost colony of Roanoke, I think archaeologists have solved it through pottery, of all things. They unearthed shards of borderware pottery. This made the archaeologists do a double take because borderware pottery isn't just any kind of pottery. It's a very distinct 16th century English earthenware. Finding this pottery in America was like discovering a historical timestamp and only found in the earliest colonial sites before 1650. But here's where it gets exciting. This dig site, known as 31BR246, was just 100 miles away from the lost colony of Roanoke, where 115 English settlers vanished without a trace in 1590, leaving behind only the cryptic word Croatoan carved into a fence. The borderware discovery led researchers to take a closer look at John White's maps, and one map in particular, La Virginie Par, became especially intriguing. So this is the map. This is Roanoke Island. Inland of Roanoke is the faintest outline of a piece of paper that seems to be patching over a mistake or repair. The British Museum, who has this map, worked with the First Colony Foundation, the FCF, to examine the map for any details that can't be seen with the naked eye. And sure enough, they saw this. The patch was covering up a symbol for a fort. What you're looking at is likely the original intended site for the city of Raleigh, the first English colony of the New World. But that is not even what is most exciting. The location of this fort matched up nearly perfectly with the 31BR246 site, aka where the archaeologists found the borderware pottery. Unfortunately, no evidence of a fort turned up, but they did find Elizabethan era artifacts. The evidence suggests that not the entire colony, but a portion of the colony, possibly even a family, fled inland to Site X in search of food and safety. While we still don't know what happened to the other settlers, and what about Virginia Dare? Did America's first English child survive? Actually, on that we might have an answer. Have you ever heard of the Dare Stones? Let me know if you want me to cover that. The lost colony of...
Okay, shout out to Chill Science and
The missing Roanoke colony mystery has just been solved after...
The lost colony of Roanoke, I think archaeologists have solved...
And also, they did good. So now...
In 1590, English explorer John White returned to Roanoke Island, expecting to find a thriving colony. But instead, he found nothing. The 115 men, women, and children who once lived here...
So yeah, that mystery, it's so strange. I don't even know. So if part of the colony did want to go to mainland for food, what happened to the rest? Sorry, choking on some bacon. So what happened to the rest of the Roanoke colony? So let's go back to our deep thinking. So this one, I can just mark out and just black. Oh, wait. So now we don't have to worry about this. So now we got some more things. So first up, Elizabethan era pottery was found near Roanoke. Okay. Along with a strange symbol where the pottery was found. So this evidence shows that a part of the lost colony left the island for resources because they couldn't survive alone on the island. But What happened to the rest of the colony? That's what bugs me now. We try to solve these great mysteries, including famous mysteries, non-famous mysteries, and yet they always turn out a bust. Well, not always. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But it bugs me. What happened to Roanoke? Where is Roanoke? Well, we already know what happens to a part, like a fraction, like 1/4 of the colony. So, like, where is the 3/4? That is what bugs me. Where's the rest fraction of the colony? Where did they go? Could the rest fraction have to do with some Croatoan? But you gotta think about it. John White. John came back to Roanoke after 3 years. So, what could have happened in like 3 years? So, it could be like a timeline. Yeah, a timeline. So if this is true, then we might have a possible answer. We might. Okay. So I'm gonna make a line. I'm gonna draw some lines straight down, as this will be our time bar. Okay, so we're gonna put in text. John goes to England. Wait, 1 second, don't mind this. John goes to England. Okay, so, and then we got this. So this is a map of, so this is going to be a timeline over the next 3 years of Roanoke. So let's say resources run out in Roanoke. Just freaking get out. Wave assistant back. Resources run out in Roanoke. Wait 1 second. The resources run out in Roanoke. Okay? A fraction of the colony moves so a fraction of the colony moves in search of resources. Now, meanwhile, the other fraction stays at Roanoke. Okay. And so at the end of this all, we got John returns after 3 years to see the colony gone. So, by the way, the fraction moving away could actually make sense on why barely anything was left behind. So now, what exactly happened to the other fraction of the colony? Like, in these 3 lines, there's just nothing. So let's create a hypothesis. So let's say Croatoans invaded the colony silently. That's hypothesis 1. The Croatoans were behind the disappearance of the other Roanokes. So now what happened to, then we're still also trying to figure out what happened to this fraction of the colony too. What happened to both fractions? And so, now, this is where things get confusing. Because if the Croatoans did invade the colony, then they will most likely killed, ate, and burned the remains. Now, if you guys think about it, in history right now, I'm learning about the Age of Discovery, where we learned about the cruel behavior of Christopher Columbus towards us Native Americans. So maybe the natives were extremely mad about the colony settling down, taking their land, and so the Croatoans just had to do the cruel thing that they done. So could that be the reason? No, that could be. So it's time for our final theory. You ready, guys? So, what happened to Roanoke? I'll pause the video and continue it later. Well, continue it when I'm done. Okay, here's my final theory. A fraction of the Roanoke people moved away from Roanoke in search of resources. The Croatoans attacked the other fraction, killed, ate, and burned their remains. And then would do the same to the fraction that moved away. The Croatoans were mad about the colony settling in their land, so they did what they had to do. They used self-defense. So that is my final theory on what happened to the Roanoke people. The Croatoans attacked them to protect their land, their home, and what they had. They did not want more people taking their resources away from them. And so that is it. That is my final theory on the Roanoke people. What happened. So John, if you're an angel and you're watching this, this is what I probably think of what happened to your people. This is what I think. A fraction of the Roanoke colony, and yeah, it's blue. It's the stuff in blue. So, bye, like and subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. Adios, amigos.